If you've grown up in Semmes, Alabama, then you've probably heard the name Melvin Pierce. Melvin Pierce is a key figure in the Semmes community who is known for his businesses and his investment within Semmes. Melvin Pierce began his career as a painter in 1959, having worked on industrial projects ranging from paper mills to chemical plants. Then, in 1972, he founded Melvin Pierce Painting, and he began to focus on residential projects in and around Mobile, Alabama. Today, Melvin Pierce Painting has grown into one of the largest commercial painting contractors in the South, specializing in commercial painting, drywall finishing, wall covering installation, and special finishes. My name is Michaela Johnson, and you are currently looking at a vintage bucket wheel trencher in front of Construction Labor Services. Now, while this machine's presence is impressive, we have heard that the man behind this business is what makes this company stand out. So, we were set and ready for an interview with the owners, but what began as an interview discussing one man's history led to an emotional discussion about his character, his faith, his family, and his legacy. We had the privilege to sit down with Melvin Pierce's daughter, Debbie Bishop, and his son-in-law, Randy Bishop, owners of Construction Labor Services, to learn more about Mr. Melvin Pierce. Construction Labor Services was incorporated in 1981 under the name Mobile Decorating Center by Melvin Pierce. But in 1985, the name changed to Construction Labor Services, also known as CLS. In 1996, Deborah Bishop became the owner and president, and since then, Construction Labor Services has become a major contractor in the field of underground utilities and site work in Mobile, Alabama, as well as surrounding areas. Deborah Bishop knows that in order to run a successful business, one must seek the wisdom of others, and Mrs. Bishop saw this modeled in her father. I would like to ask you, what was it like growing up with Mr. Pierce, seeing him open all these businesses and then taking on that mantle from him? Like, what did you learn from him?
Well, when I was growing up, when I was younger, we were very poor. I can't do this.
Out of respect for the privacy and the emotional interview that we shared with Mrs. Debbie Bishop, we decided to summarize a few of her comments. For example, Mrs. Bishop spoke about her father very highly and how he always worked hard, but he never complained about anything. From growing up in a 2-bedroom house that was shared by 8 people, it was those humble beginnings that always kept their family grounded. But mainly, it was the faith of her father. And that is when Debbie Bishop told us a story of how she had lost 2 of her sisters in an automobile accident while they were in their teens. But once again, Melvin Pierce didn't complain. He just leaned on his faith, and he demonstrated it to his family. Shortly after the accident, that is when her father's business began to take off. I asked Randy Bishop to summarize his thoughts about Mr. Pierce, and this is what he said.
He was an entrepreneur. He started with nothing. He was a president of the Painters Local, and he took and didn't run for a time. So he started his own business with him and 2 kids, painting houses. And he went from that to where he is now, you know. So he's just a good Christian man that did the right things and was blessed because of it.
Randy Bishop said that Melvin Pierce cared for his community. In fact, he was one of the founding members of the Dixie Youth Baseball program in Semmes. And he was also a founding member and president of an organization called the Friends of Semmes, which ultimately led to the incorporation of Semmes becoming a city. We talked about before, he was a founder of the baseball field?
Yes.
The Semmes Youth Park up there. Him and I think it was 4 other guys.
Jack Tillman, and I'm not sure who the other ones were.
They formed it in 1969. The Semmes didn't have a team or a park for kids to go and play ball. And he and I think 4 of the guys got together and formed it. And how they built the fields, I don't know, but they got them built. Knowing Mr. Pierce, he had a lot of friends that come and helped. And then he was the founding member of the Semmes of Friends of Semmes, which was started the incorporation of Semmes. He started with some other people, of course, but he started the Christmas parade, the Zaya Festival. All these group of people that met up there, the Friends of Semmes, started all these activities without any money from the county or anywhere. I mean, they just took money up, they did what they had to do, and they made our community a better place to live, for sure.
We were astounded at the many roles that Melvin Pierce played in the community and the notoriety that he received over the years. Melvin Pierce was a man of integrity, character, and discipline. And even though he had a long list of accomplishments, they never went to his head. One could say that all of the qualities that made him successful as an entrepreneur had zero impact on him as a person. And that is because Melvin Pierce wasn't defined by accolades or accomplishments. He was defined by his faith.
His name meant more to him than the business. He always wanted people to know that he was a good Christian man, and that was the most important thing in his life.
What would you say would be a good factor as to why people work for Melvin Pierce Painting and all of these other companies that he works for? What are these aspects that you have that other companies don't?
I think it was his heart. I think that he treated people with respect. They knew he was a Christian man, but he treated people, know whether you was on the bottom or you was on top, with the same amount of respect. He had been on the bottom coming up as a kid, so he knew what that felt like. And his theory was always that I know where they've been, and I want to help them. And if I can help them be successful, I want to help them be successful. But I think it was his giving spirit, his Christianity, and his heart that's what drew people to him, because he had the best of the best in Mobile. I mean, he treated them with respect. He paid them good. But he was like part of our family. I mean, we were one big family. I mean, I think that's why people would come to work for him, you know.
Mr. Pierce's entrepreneurial spirit, his faith, his morals, and his work ethic have all been passed down to his family, and they continue to uphold these principles today. So I guess you could say that the persona of Melvin Pierce continues.
We are his legacy. We are who he taught, be who we are. Because of him, we are who we are. Because of his Christian walk, his humble advice, his times of being strong and tough on us when we needed to have it. His favorite saying was always, if you come home and you're able to still go out in the backyard and play basketball, you didn't work hard enough. And always get your priorities in line. Always get your priorities in line.
Yeah, I said, hey, I was fussing because Randy was going hunting. I'm so sick of him going hunting all the time. He said, Debbie. I said, what? He said, he could be in a bar. I said, well, thank God he went hunting. And he said, that's exactly right. So thank God for what he's doing, and don't think about the negative part of what he's doing, because he could be in a bar, you know. So he could be running around, but he's going hunting. So
with a brother.
Yeah, I mean, he was just always there, you know, to guide me, to show me it's okay if he's going hunting. He's in the woods with, you know, a bunch of guys hunting. So he was that kind of person. No matter what I said, there was always, you know, a reason.
It's important that you do what you say.
Yes, sir.
You know, they don't just tell people, I'll do this for you, I'll do this for you. But when you tell somebody you're going to do something for them, you do what you say. Your words you're only as good as your word. And if you don't do what you say in business or in your personal life, then you don't have anything. You know, you've lost your credibility, basically.
I'm Michaela Johnson, and this has been a Seymour Story.
Please like and subscribe. Ring that bell for notifications so you can see more.